Hello, my friend. Welcome back to this quiet space. A space we have carved out just for you, away from the brightness of the day, away from the noise of the world. There is nothing you need to do right now, no problems to solve, no questions to answer. The day is done, the doors are locked, the world has slowed down, and now it is time for you to slow down with it. Tonight, we are going to begin a journey, but not a journey of effort. We are not climbing mountains or running across plains. We are doing something much more natural, much more peaceful. We are going to follow the path of water, not the crashing waves of the ocean or the rushing rapids of a river. We are going to follow the secret, silent journey of the water that sleeps beneath our feet. The water that travels through the dark, warm earth, patient and hidden. But before the water can sleep in the ground, it must first leave the sky. So, find a comfortable position. Let your shoulders drop. Unclench your jaw. Let the bed beneath you rise up to support your weight. Close your eyes, and let us begin with a single drop of rain. High above, in the vast, open theater of the atmosphere, the air has grown heavy. Can you imagine the feeling of the air becoming thick with moisture? It is a cooling sensation, a relief from the heat of the sun. The clouds have gathered, knitting themselves together like a great, woolly blanket of charcoal gray. They are blocking out the harsh light, creating a twilight shade that tells the whole world it is time to rest. Up here, floating in the mist, a water droplet begins to form. It starts as nothing more than a whisper of vapor, a tiny ghost of moisture clinging to a speck of dust. It is weightless, drifting, without purpose, without direction. But slowly, gently, it gathers its brothers and sisters. Other tiny whispers of vapor join it. They coalesce, they embrace, and as they hold onto each other, they become something real, something heavy. Think of your own body right now. Think of how your eyelids feel heavy. That is the same heaviness of the water droplet. It is a good heaviness. It is the weight of potential, the weight of something that is ready to let go. For a long time, the droplet has been held up by the wind. The currents of the air have pushed it higher and higher, keeping it suspended in the chaotic dance of the sky. The skies is a busy place, full of rushing winds and changing temperatures. It is like our minds, during the day full of movement, never sitting still. But the droplet is tired of the wind. It is tired of flying. It is too heavy now to keep dancing. It longs for stillness. It longs for the ground. Do you feel that pull? It is not a forceful tug. It is simply gravity. The earth calling her children home. The earth is magnetic, warm, and inviting. She whispers to the cloud, "Let go. I will catch you," and so the droplet surrenders. It happens in an instant of pure release. The droplet detaches from the gray mass of the cloud. It says goodbye to the high altitudes. It says goodbye to the birds and the wind. It begins to fall. Imagine, just for a moment, the sensation of falling without fear. It is a gentle descent. The air rushes past the round curve of the water drop, polishing it into a perfect sphere, a tiny jewel of liquid crystal, falling through the vastness of space, down, down, down. There is a silence in this fall, between the cloud and the ground. There is a space of pure transition. The drop is no longer part of the sky, but it has not yet touched the earth. It is in a state of flow. This is the state of drifting. Just as you are drifting now, between being awake and being asleep. You are falling through the velvet layers of your own consciousness. As the drop falls, the air gets warmer. The sounds of the atmosphere fade away. The drop passes by the tops of the tallest trees, the ancient pines, and the swaying oaks. It brushes past their leaves, a gentle caress, but it does not stop. It is aiming for something deeper. There are millions of them falling together. Can you hear them? A symphony of soft, shushing sounds. Sha, sha, sha. It is a white noise that blankets the world. It tells the animals to retreat to their burrows. It tells the birds to nestle into their branches. It creates a curtain of privacy around the world. The rain is a wall that separates the outside world from your inner peace. Inside the sound of the rain, you are safe. The droplet continues its long descent. It has traveled thousands of feet. It has seen the world from above. But it does not want to see anymore. It wants to feel. It wants to touch. It is tired of being light and airy. It wants to be grounded. It wants to be held. Now visualize the ground below. It is not a hard pavement or a cold stone. We are in a forest, an ancient, quiet forest. The ground here is soft. It is covered in layers of moss, thick and green, like a velvet carpet spread out over the earth. Beneath the moss, there are fallen leaves, brown and gold, slowly returning to the soil. The earth smells rich. That scent, petrichor, the smell of dust after rain. It is a primitive smell, a scent that signals life and renewal. The water droplet, our little traveler, is approaching the end of its flight. It sees a blade of grass, a single, slender blade, bowing slightly under the weight of the air. The drop lands, but it does not shatter. It does not break. Water is flexible. Water is yielding. When it hits the blade of grass, it spreads out, wrapping itself around the green curve. It hangs there for a moment, a shimmering pearl, reflecting the dim light of the gray sky. It pauses, a moment of hesitation. Then, gravity pulls it again. It slides down the length of the grass. It slides down smoothly, without resistance, until it touches the soil. This is the moment of contact. This is the hug. The soil is not solid like rock. It is porous. It is full of tiny spaces, tiny pockets of air waiting to be filled. The soil is thirsty. It has been waiting for this rain for weeks. When the water touches the earth does not push it away. It opens up. It absorbs. Imagine a soft, dry sponge. When you pour water onto it, the sponge swells. It drinks the water in. That is what the forest floor is doing. It is welcoming the traveler home. The droplet loses its shape. It is no longer a sphere. It spreads out, seeping into the spaces between the grains of soil. It is no longer an individual. It is becoming part of something larger. It joins the dampness of the earth. Do you feel that release? The tension of holding a shape is gone. The water no longer needs to hold itself together against the wind. It can relax. It can spread out. It is supported on all sides by the grains of earth. It is hugged from the left, hugged from the right, hugged from below. It is completely cradled. This is how you should feel in your bed. The mattress is the earth. You are the water. You sink into it. The boundaries between you and the bed begin to blur. You are held. You are heavy. You are safe. The droplet has now left the world of the light. Above, on the surface, the rain continues to fall. Pitter-patter, pitter-patter. But our droplet is no longer part of that noise. It has slipped beneath the surface. It has entered the skin of the earth. Here, just an inch below the grass, the light is dimming. It is a soft, brown twilight. The chaos of the storm above is muffled. The wind cannot reach here. The thunder is just a vibration in the ground, a gentle massage that rocks the water deeper and deeper. The journey has changed. In the sky, the movement was fast and vertical, but here in the soil, the movement slows down completely. To move here, the water must be patient. It must negotiate with the roots of the plants. It brushes past the hair, thin roots of the grass, the thick, woody roots of the trees. It nourishes them as it passes, giving them a small sip of life, but it continues on. It is seeking rest. It trickles through tiny tunnels made by earthworms and insects long ago. These are the secret passages of the underworld. The water moves through them, like a guest walking through the hallways of a quiet, sleeping house. There is no rush here. If a grain of sand blocks the way, the water simply waits. It waits, and then it finds a way around. It flows to the left, or it flows to the right. It is perfectly adaptable. Water never fights the obstacle. It flows around it. Think about the thoughts in your head right now. If a worry comes up, or a plan for tomorrow, be like the water. Do not fight it. Do not try to crush the thought. Just flow around it. Acknowledge it is there, like a grain of sand, and then let your mind trickle past it, deeper into the dark, deeper into the calm. The further down the water goes, the quieter it becomes. The smell of the rain on the surface is gone. Now, there is only the scent of minerals, the scent of stone, the scent of deep, ancient time. The water is shedding its identity. It is no longer rain. It is becoming groundwater. It is changing its name. It is changing its nature. It is no longer a child of the sky. It is now a keeper of the earth's secrets. We have only just begun this descent. We have only traveled the first few inches. The surface whirled the world of sun, and clouds, and cities, and noise is already forgotten. It feels like a distant memory, something that happened a long time ago. Here, in the damp embrace of the soil, there is only the present moment, cool, dark, silent. The water rests here for a moment, gathering its strength for the long, slow journey ahead. It sits in the pores of the soil, suspended in equilibrium. It is balanced, neither falling nor rising, just existing. This is the feeling of sleep onset, that moment when you are floating, when your breathing evens out, in and out, in and out. You are the water in the soil. You are protected by the earth. Nothing can disturb you here. As we leave our water droplet tonight, nestled safely in the first inch of the forest floor, we bid farewell to the sky. We give thanks to the clouds for carrying us, but we are glad to be down here. We are glad to be hidden. In the next chapter, we will travel deeper. We will move through the blankets of humus and clay, entering the true darkness where the cleaning begins. But for now, stay here in the soft soil. Feel the coolness wrapping around you. Feel the silence pressing gently against your ears. The sky is far away. The ground is here. The ground is now. Sleep, my traveler. Drift into the earth. Sink into the quiet. Good night. Imagine the texture of this place. We are just a few inches below the surface now. It is dark here, but not a scary dark. It is a cozy dark, like the inside of a pocket, like the space beneath a heavy winter quilt. The soil here is loose and crumbly. It is made of thousands of tiny particles, bits of leaves that fell years ago, fragments of bark, tiny grains of sand. They are all loosely packed together, like a sponge. The water droplet does not rush. There is no gravity pulling it down hard like in the air. Here, gravity is gentle. It is a slow persuasion. The water moves by capillary action. Do you know this feeling? It is the feeling of being drawn in. Like when a paper towel touches a spill, and the liquid just climbs. The soil pulls the water into its embrace. It hugs the water tight. The water clings to a grain of soil, holding onto it for a moment, then passing it to the next grain. It is a handshake, a passing of the torch, one grain to another. Listen closely. Can you hear the sound of absorption? It is the sound of a thirsty earth drinking its fill. It is a sound almost too quiet for human ears. a microscopic shifting. The soil expands slightly as it drinks. It swells, becoming softer, plumper. If you were a tiny creature living here, you would feel the walls of your home gently breathing in and out, expanding with the moisture. This is the breath of the forest floor. Let your own breathing match this rhythm. Slow, expanding, relaxing. There is no need to force the air into your lungs. Just let it flow in, like water into soil. Let it fill the spaces naturally. As the water moves through this layer, something magical happens. It is not just moving, it is being cleaned. The soil is a great filter. When the rain fell from the sky, it might have picked up dust. It might have carried the smoke of the city or the pollen of the flowers. It was carrying the burdens of the world above. But the soil says, "Give that to me." Imagine the water passing through a tangled web of tiny roots. These roots are like fine hairs, weaving a net in the dark. As the water passes through, the roots gently brush against it. They catch the dust. They catch the impurities. The soil holds onto the dirt, so the water can continue on, pure. It is a process of letting go. Think of your own day today. Think of the conversations you had, the noise of the traffic, the flickering of screens, the stress of deadlines. All of that is like the dust in the rain. As you lie here, listening to my voice, you are moving through the soil of sleep. Let the mattress beneath you pull that dust away from your body. Let the pillow absorb the heavy thoughts from your mind. The soil takes what is heavy so that you can become light. The water becomes clearer with every inch it travels. It leaves behind the gray of the storm. It leaves behind the memory of the wind. It is forgetting. It forgets the height of the clouds. It forgets the flash of lightning. It forgets the cold. Now, there is only the present sensation of touching the earth. Cool, damp, quiet. Forgetting is a form of cleaning. To sleep well, we must forget the day. We must let it dissolve into the past, filtered out by the night. Leave your day at the surface. You are deep underground now. There is a smell here. Can you conjure it in your mind? It is the smell of a greenhouse, damp, warm, and alive. It is the smell of decomposition, but in the most beautiful way. It is the smell of old things breaking down to make way for new life. It is the smell of autumn. The water navigates through decaying leaves that have been buried for years. These leaves were once green and high in the branches, dancing in the sun. Now they are brown, soft skeletons, resting in the dark. They have finished their work. They are at peace. The water honors them as it passes. It moves through the veins of a skeleton leaf, tracing the pattern of life that used to be there. It is a slow, winding path. There are no straight lines in nature. The water meanders. It curves left, it curves right. It finds the path of least resistance. Are you forcing your mind into straight lines right now? Are you trying to think logically? Let that go. Let your thoughts meander. Let them curve and twist like the water moving through the leaves. It doesn't matter where they go. There is no destination. There is only the flow. Sometimes the water meets a small pebble, a tiny stone, smooth and round, resting in the soil. The water does not stop. It wraps around the pebble. It caresses the cool surface of the stone, cooling itself down even further. It coats the pebble in a thin, shining film of moisture. Imagine your thoughts are like that water wrapping around a stone, smooth, frictionless, just gliding over the surface of things without getting stuck. Everything here is slippery. Everything here is easy. We are going a little deeper now. The loose leaves are behind us. We are entering the zone of the root hairs. These are not the big, woody roots of the giant trees yet. These are the microscopic, fuzzy white tips of the roots. Millions of them. They are waiting in the dark, blind and hungry. They are the sensors of the plants. They feel the water coming. As the water approaches, the roots reach out chemically. They invite the water in. Some of the water stops here. It chooses to stay. It enters the root, travels up the stem, and eventually becomes the sap of a plant. It returns to life, but not our water. Not the water we are following tonight. Our water is on a different mission. It is the silent traveler. It acknowledges the roots. It offers a small wave, but it continues downward. It is seeking something deeper than life. It is seeking the bedrock. It is seeking the eternal sleep of the aquifer. It slips past the greedy roots. It slips past the waking world. Do you feel a sense of heaviness growing in your limbs? That is the feeling of sinking past the roots. The world wants to pull you back up. The alarm clock wants you. The emails want you. The responsibilities want you. They are reaching out like the roots, but you are slipping past them. You are going deeper. You are out of reach. They cannot touch you down here. You are too deep. You are too fluid. You are slipping through their fingers, heading down into the quiet. The deeper we go, the tighter the soil becomes. At the surface, there were big gaps of air, but here, a foot underground, the weight of the earth above presses down. The soil particles are packed closer together. You might think this would be uncomfortable, but it is not. It is like being swaddled. It is deep pressure therapy. The earth presses against the water from all sides. There is no room to move fast. Speed is impossible here. The water can only ooze, a slow, viscous movement. The pressure is comforting. It holds the water together. It prevents it from evaporating. Up in the sun, water can disappear into the air. But down here, crushed gently by the soil, the water is safe from evaporation. It is preserved. Feel the heavy blanket on your body. Feel the weight of the sheets. That is the soil packing around you. It is keeping you safe. It is keeping you whole. The temperature is constant here. It is cool. It never changes. Winter, summer, day, night, it does not matter. Down here, it is always the same cool, steady temperature. The fever of the day cools down. The heat of worry dissipates into the cold clay. We are slowing down. Can you feel the deceleration? In the air, the water fell at 20 miles per hour. On the surface, it flowed at a walking pace. Here, in the packed soil, it moves a few inches per hour. Just a few inches. In a whole hour, that is the speed of geology. That is the speed of peace. Why rush? We have nowhere to be. The ocean is thousands of miles away and thousands of years in the future. For now, we are just here, caught in the brown, silent matrix of the earth, existing, resting, filtering. Some people fear the dark. They think it is empty. They think it is lonely. But you and I know the truth. We know that darkness is simply a curtain pulled around us to keep us safe. Close your eyes. Look at the back of your eyelids. That is the darkness we are talking about. It is personal. It is warm. It is yours. The water is slipping past the last thin hair of the deepest tree root. It waves goodbye to the world of life. It waves goodbye to the worms, the insects, the growing things. It is crossing the threshold into the mineral world. Deeper, quieter, still. Come with me. Let us step into the shadow. There is a point, about 3 feet underground, where the very last photon of sunlight dies. Above this line, there is still a faint memory of day, a subtle shift between morning and evening. The soil warms up slightly when the sun is high, but below this line, the concept of day does not exist. The water crosses this boundary now. Imagine walking into a vast, cavernous room and closing a heavy, velvet door behind you. Click. The lock turns. The noise of the street is gone. The light of the hallway is gone. You are wrapped in thick, black velvet. This is the zero zone. The water here does not know if it is noon or midnight. It does not know if it is winter or summer. Those are surface words. Those are temporary things. Here, there is only, now, a singular, stretching moment of existence. Do you feel how relaxing that is, to not know what time it is? On the surface, time is a tyrant. The clock ticks. The schedule demands. The light wakes you up before you are ready. But here, in the gentle darkness, there are no clocks. The water does not carry a watch. It moves when it moves. It stops when it stops. Let yourself be like the water in the zero zone. Forget the time. Is it late? Is it early? It doesn't matter. You are here in the dark, and that is the only time that is real. Let the heavy velvet door close in your mind. Shut out the light. Shut out the world. As the water moves deeper, the soil changes. The crumbs of the topsoil are gone. We are entering the layer of fine clay and silt. The particles are smaller here. They fit together tightly. Like a puzzle with no gaps, this creates a new sensation: pressure. Imagine a heavy, weighted blanket. A very heavy one. When you put it on, it presses down on your chest, on your legs. It tells your nervous system, you are held, you cannot fly away. The earth is pressing on the water. This pressure is a form of silence. Sound needs space to travel. It needs air. But down here, there is no air. The earth is dense. The earth is solid. The scream of a siren, it cannot reach here. The bark of a dog, it bounces off the surface. The thunder of the storm, it is just a tiny tremble, a lullaby. The water is insulated. Try to listen to the silence in your room right now. Can you hear the hum of the walls? Can you hear the quiet between your thoughts? The water is surrounded by billions of tons of rock and dirt, a fortress of silence. It is the safest place on the planet. Nothing can hurt the water here. It is too deep. It is buried too well. Feel that safety. Imagine the walls of your room growing thicker, denser, blocking out everything. You are in a fortress. You are in a vault. And the treasure inside the vault is your sleep. There is a temperature here. As the water left the surface, it might have been warm from a summer rain or freezing from a winter sleet. But the earth is a great equalizer. Down here, below the frost line, the temperature is constant. It is always cool, not cold, just cool, like the other side of the pillow. Imagine that sensation. You turn your pillow over and you press your cheek against the fresh, cool fabric. A sigh escapes your lips. That coolness draws the heat out of your head. It calms the inflammation of your thoughts. The water feels this constantly. It touches the clay, and the clay is cool. It touches a buried stone, and the stone is cool. The water gives up its heat to the earth. It cools down. Its molecules slow their vibration. In physics, heat is movement. Cold is stillness. The water is becoming still. It is shivering off the energy of the atmosphere and adopting the temperature of the deep earth. 55 degrees Fahrenheit, 12 degrees Celsius, the temperature of a cellar, the temperature of preservation. When things are kept cool and dark, they last forever. The water is being preserved. It is not aging. It is not evaporating. It is simply existing in a state of suspended animation. Let your mind cool down. Visualize your thoughts as steam. Hot, rising steam. Now imagine the cool earth absorbing that steam, turning it back into liquid, turning it into heavy, cool droplets that sink down into your chest. Cool, heavy, still. On the surface, water flows in rivers. It rushes together, thousands of gallons, crashing and shouting over rocks. It is a public event. Everyone can see the river. But here, the journey is private. The water has separated into microscopic trickles. It is no longer a river. It is a secret. It moves through channels thinner than a human hair. This is a solitary journey. Do you ever feel the need to be truly alone? To be where no one can look at you, where no one can judge you, where you don't have to smile or speak. This is that place. The darkness hides the water. It gives the water permission to just be. It navigates the tiny spaces between the silt grains. It turns left, finds a blocked path, turns right, finds a tiny opening. It is exploring the microscopic architecture of the planet. It is intimate. The water is hugging the geology. It is caressing the skeletons of ancient rocks. It is moving through history, and it does this all alone. There is a profound peace in solitude. In the dark, you don't have to perform for anyone. You are lying in your bed. No one is watching. No one needs you. You are off duty. You are like the water in the deep clay. You are navigating your own private darkness. You are exploring the quiet corners of your own mind. And it is beautiful. It is vast. It is yours. Let's go back to that visual of darkness. If you could touch the darkness here, what would it feel like? It is not empty space. It is thick. It feels like liquid velvet or black ink. Imagine the water swimming through ink. It is a viscous, supportive medium. The water doesn't have to support its own weight anymore. The darkness holds it up. The water floats, suspended in the pores of the earth, floating, drifting. Are you holding any tension in your neck? Are you holding up your own head? Let the pillow do it. Let the darkness do it. Imagine the darkness as a thick liquid filling the room, rising up from the floor. It covers your feet. It covers your legs. It covers your chest. It is warm and heavy. It covers your eyes. You are submerged in the gentle darkness. You are buoyant. You are weightless. Everything is soft here. There are no sharp edges in the dark. The edges have dissolved. Where does the water end and the rock begin? It is hard to tell. They are merging. Where do you end and the sleep begin? It is hard to tell. You are merging. Blur the lines. Soften the focus. The visual part of your brain is shutting down. It doesn't need to work anymore. There is nothing to see. There is only feeling. Feeling the cool. Feeling the weight. Feeling the quiet. The water pushes forward, and suddenly, the path opens up. Instead of the tight, suffocating clay, there is space here. The water finds itself surrounded by millions, billions of tiny crystals under a microscope. A grain of sand is not just a speck. It is a boulder. It is a jewel. It is a piece of a mountain that broke off eons ago and was polished by time. Some are clear like quartz. Some are pink like feldspar. Some are black volcanic glass. The water is now a tiny traveler walking through a valley of diamonds. It moves between them. The space between the grains is called the pore space. It is narrow, yes, but it is smooth. Imagine sliding your hand over a polished stone surface, cool, glassy, frictionless. That is how the water moves now. It slides. It encounters a grain of sand, and it glides around the curve. It hugs the surface. It is a sensual movement, a slow, winding caress. There are no straight lines here. The water must zigzag, left, right, down, turn, twist. It creates a rhythm. It is not just falling anymore. It is negotiating. It is finding the path of least resistance. Are you finding the path of least resistance in your bed right now? Adjust your pillow. Shift your blanket. Find that tiny curve where your neck fits perfectly. Be like the water, finding the curve of the sand grain. Fit yourself into the comfort. As the water squeezes between these tiny rocks, there is friction. But this is not a harsh scratching. It is a massage. Think of it as exfoliation. When you rub sand on your skin, it scrubs away the dead cells. It leaves you feeling fresh and new. Here, the sand is scrubbing the water. The water arrived here carrying the dust of the atmosphere. It carried the microscopic debris of the surface world. But the sand says, "No further." The gaps between the grains are too small for the dirt to pass. The sand traps the dust. It catches the impurities in its tiny crevices. It holds onto them, allowing only the pure water to pass through. It is stripping the water of its burden. Imagine your worries are like that dust. The stress of your job, the arguments, the fears, they are attached to you. But now, you are squeezing through the sands of sleep. Visualize the sand grains gently scraping those worries off your skin. They catch the tension in your shoulders and hold it back. They catch the tightness in your forehead. They catch the noise in your ears. The sand keeps the bad stuff. It lets you the pure, liquid you flow through. You are becoming lighter. You are leaving the heavy parts of yourself behind in the sediment layer. Feel that lightness spreading, a stripping away of the unnecessary. Just clean, clear water remains. Sand is the symbol of time. We put sand in hourglasses to measure the minutes. We watch it trickle down, grain by grain. But underground, there is no glass to hold it. It is an infinite hourglass. The water trickles through the sand at a pace that is almost impossible to perceive. Drip. This is the definition of patience. The sand does not rush the water. It holds it back slightly. It slows the flow. Why? Because rushing leads to mistakes. Rushing leads to turbidity, cloudiness. To be clear, water must move slowly. To be clear, your mind must move slowly. The sand forces the water to pause, to take its time. Slow down, the silica whispers. Where are you going so fast? Stay here with us for a while. Do you feel the need to rush to sleep? I have to sleep now, so I can wake up early. Let that go. That is surface thinking. Here in the sand, we just trickle, we drift. If sleep comes in 10 minutes, fine. If it comes in an hour, fine. We are just sliding between the crystals, enjoying the friction, enjoying the slow, measured pace of the underground. You have nowhere to be. The sand has captured you in its slow time loop. Something else happens here. The water doesn't just get cleaner, it gets polished. As it rubs against the quartz and the silica, the water becomes structured. It picks up a subtle charge. It becomes aligned. Have you ever seen sea glass? Glass that has been tumbled in the ocean and sand until it is smooth, frosty, and beautiful. It loses its sharp edges. The water is tumbling you right now. Think of the sharp edges of your personality today. Maybe you were sharp with a coworker. Maybe you felt a sharp pang of anxiety. Maybe you had a sharp headache. Now, imagine the sand grains gently rubbing against those sharp edges. Rub, rub, smooth, soften, over and over again. Thousands of tiny touches. The edges are being rounded off. The sharpness is dulling into a smooth curve. Your anger is being sanded down into patience. Your fear is being sanded down into acceptance. You are becoming like a polished river stone. Smooth, round, pleasing to hold. There is nothing sharp left in you tonight. Check your body. Are your toes clenched? That is a sharp edge. Let the sand smooth it out. Uncurl them. Is your tongue pressed to the roof of your mouth? Let it drop. Smooth it out. Is your belly tight? Soften it. Let the sand polish you until you are slippery and soft, gliding effortlessly through the dark. Can you hear the music of this place? It is not a melody. It is a texture. It is a white noise. Sha! It is the sound of billions of grains settling. When the water moves, the sand shifts just a tiny bit to accommodate it. It is a cooperative movement. It is like the sound of sleeping sheets rustling. When you turn over in bed, the sheets make a sound. Swish. That is the sound of the sand. It is a comforting sound. It means you are wrapped up. The sand is dense. It blocks out the high-pitched noises of the world. It absorbs the screeching and the beeping. It leaves only the low, muffled thrum of the earth. This sound is a lullaby for your nervous system. It tells your brain, static, stillness, silence. Let your mind focus on that white noise. If a thought tries to intrude aloud, colorful thought, imagine it getting lost in the sandstorm. Imagine it getting buried. Bury the thought in the sand. Pile the grains on top of it. Cover it up. We will deal with that later. The sand says, for now, bury it. Bury the tomorrow. Bury the yesterday. There is only the shifting, golden grain of the now. Let us look at this barrier. This is not the loose dirt of the garden. This is the skeleton of the planet. Granite, basalt, limestone. These are the bones that hold up the mountains. They hold up the cities. They hold up your house. They hold up your bed. Think about how old this rock is. While the sand above shifts and moves with every rainstorm, the bedrock sits still. It has been sitting here for millions of years. It was here before the trees grew. It was here before the rivers had names. It was here when the dinosaurs walked above. It has seen everything, yet it says nothing. There is an immense comfort in this stillness. The rock does not vibrate with the anxiety of the present moment. It is locked in the deep time. Feel that stability beneath you. When you lie in bed, you are not just lying on a mattress. You are lying on a floor which sits on a foundation, which sits on the soil, which rests on this massive, silent rock. You are supported by something that never moves. You can let go of your own weight now. You don't need to hold yourself up. The bedrock has got you. Imagine the bedrock as a giant hand, palm up, holding the entire world, and you are resting right in the center of that palm. Solid, unshakable, permanent. Allow your muscles to trust this support. The rock is not going anywhere. You can surrender your weight completely. When the water first hits the rock, it stops. It pools there. On top of the stone surface, it creates a thin, saturated layer, a temporary pause. Sometimes in life, we hit a wall. We hit a moment where we can't go forward. We feel stuck. Maybe tonight, you feel stuck in your thoughts. You want to sleep, but your mind is a wall of stone. I cannot sleep, you say. It is blocked. But look closer at the water. It does not panic. It does not get angry at the rock. It does not try to smash through with a hammer. Water knows better. It simply waits. It spreads out. It feels the surface of the stone with a gentle, exploring touch. It searches for weakness. Where is the opening? The water whispers. It is patient. It knows that even the mightiest shield has a crack. Even the hardest day has a soft ending. Be like the water. Don't pound against the door of sleep. Don't try to force your way in. Just pool there. Just wait. Feel the surface of the moment. The opening will come. It always does. The rock cannot keep the water out forever. Nature does not allow perfect seals. Nature loves connection. So, hover here in the liminal space, between the sand and the stone. Hover in the waiting. Waiting is not wasting time. Waiting is gathering strength. And then, it finds it, a fracture, a fissure. To us, the rock looks solid. But geology tells a different story. The earth is under pressure. Over millions of years, the rock has shifted, expanded, and cooled. And in that movement, it cracked. These cracks are microscopic. They are thinner than a sheet of paper. They are the scars of history. But to the water, a crack is a canyon. It is an open door. It is an invitation. Come inside, the rock groans. Come deep inside me. The water accepts the invitation. It changes its shape. It stretches itself out, becoming thin, long, and elegant. It slips into the fracture. Imagine the feeling of slipping into a tight, secure space. Have you ever tucked your feet deep under the heavy covers at the bottom of the bed, or squeezed into a cozy nook? It is a feeling of being embraced from all sides. The water enters the fracture. Immediately, the rock walls close in on the left and the right. They press against the water. This is a cold, firm hug. It is absolute containment. In the sand, the water could move sideways. It could wander. But in the fracture, there is only one way to go: down. The choice is removed. The freedom to wander is removed. And that is a relief. Sometimes we have too many choices. We have too many paths. It makes our minds spin. But now the path is narrow. You just have to follow gravity. Just go down. Let the narrowing of the path calm you. You don't need to make decisions right now. The crack guides you. Just follow the walls. Slide down the sleek, cold surface of the stone. Down, deeper into the planet's crust. This creates a beautiful contrast. The fluid and the solid. The rock is rigid. It cannot change. If you push it, it resists. It is stubborn. It is like the stress of the day, hard and unyielding. The water is flexible. It adapts. If you push it, it yields. It flows around. And here is the secret. The water always wins. Over time, the soft water will wear down the hard stone. It will widen the crack. It will turn the fracture into a cave. Softness is stronger than hardness. Think about your thoughts. Are you trying to be hard with them? Are you trying to block them out with a stone wall? Stop thinking. You command. That is hard. That creates resistance. Instead, be fluid. Let the thoughts be the rocks. You are the water. Flow around them. Don't push them away. Just glide over them. Slip past them. This is a hard thought, you might say, and then flow past it. Find the crack in the worry. The crack is the realization that right now you are safe. Slip through that realization. Leave the hard rock behind. Let it stay where it is. You are moving on. You are fluid. You are escaping. We are now traveling vertically. The horizontal world is gone. The world of sunrise and sunset, left and right, that is over. We are dropping into the deep time. Every inch the water descends in this fracture. It travels back in history, 10 feet down. We are in the time of the first forests, 50 feet down. We are in the time of the glaciers, 100 feet down. We are in a time before humans existed. The deeper you go, the less the surface world matters. What is a missed phone call compared to a million-year-old rock? What is an awkward conversation compared to the tectonic shift of continents? The scale of the rock makes your problems look so small, so tiny. They dissolve. You are entering the vault of history. It is silent here. The vibration of the modern world is dead. There is no Wi-Fi here. There are no radio waves. There is no noise, just stone, cold, compressed, silent stone. The fracture zigzags. It is not a straight drop. Zag, pause, zig, pause. The water hangs on the wall of the crack, clinging to the roughness of the stone, then drops to the next ledge. It is a slow, dripping journey. Drip. Listen to the echo. Drip. The echo tells you the space is tight. It is private. Just you and the ancient geology. You are safer here than anywhere else. Buried under tons of protection. Nothing can find you here. The alarm clock cannot find you. The sunlight cannot find you. You are hidden in the heart of the stone. How fast do you think we are moving? On the highway, cars move at 60 miles per hour. The wind moves at 20 miles per hour. Even the lazy river moves at a walking pace. But here, deep in the aquifer's recharge zone, speed is dead. Here, water moves about 1 foot per year. Think about that distance. Look at your own hand. From your wrist to your elbow, that is 1 foot. Imagine taking an entire year to travel that distance. 365 days to move from your wrist to your elbow. That is how slow the water is moving through the microscopic pores of the rock. To the human eye, it looks perfectly still. It looks like it is sleeping, but it is not stopped. It is just flowing in slow motion. This is the speed of peace. In our world, we are obsessed with fast food, fast internet, fast sleep. I need to fall asleep fast, you say, but the earth says no. The earth says, what is the rush? There is nowhere to go. There is nothing to achieve. If the water rushed through the rock, it wouldn't have time to clean itself. It wouldn't have time to absorb the minerals. It would arrive at the ocean dirty and empty. Slowness is necessary for quality. So, do not be angry at yourself if you are awake. Do not be angry if your mind is moving slow. You are simply in aquifer mode. You are taking your time. You are soaking. You are being filtered. Let your body mimic this geological slowness. If you need to move your leg, move it, but move it like the water in the rock. Slowly, deliberately. Take 5 seconds just to uncurl a toe. Feel the luxury of being slow. Down here, the concept of a deadline is laughable. The rocks do not have calendars. The water does not have a schedule. When you are encased in granite, a Tuesday feels exactly the same as a Sunday. A morning feels exactly the same as a night. The labels we put on time fall away. It is too late, you worry. I have to wake up in 4 hours. Let the water wash that thought away. Too late is a surface concept. Here in the deep, it is always now. It is a long, stretching, infinite now. Imagine the water droplet hanging on the lip of a fissure. It hangs there, It grows heavy. It reflects the darkness. It doesn't worry about when it will fall. It falls when it is heavy enough, not a moment sooner, not a moment later. It trusts gravity. Can you trust the gravity of sleep? You don't need to pull sleep toward you. You don't need to chase it. You just need to hang there. Hang in the darkness. Hang in the comfort of your bed. Gravity will do the work. Eventually, inevitably, you will fall. Until then, just hang. Be heavy. Be full. Be present. There is a wonderful freedom in not knowing what time it is. If you were in a cave, deep underground, you would sleep when you were tired and wake when you were rested. Your body knows how to do this. Your brain is trying to interfere with math. Stop doing the math. Subtract the hours. Divide the minutes. Reduce everything to zero. Zero velocity. Zero urgency. Let's look at this water through the lens of history. The water you drink from a deep well today. Do you know when it fell from the sky? It might have fallen as rain 10,000 years ago. While this water was slowly creeping through the first 10 feet of sand, perhaps the pyramids were being built in Egypt. While it was filtering through the clay layer, empires were rising and falling in Rome. Kings were born, lived and died. Battles were fought. Cities were burned. But down here, in the quiet dark, the water just moved an inch. While the surface world was screaming with chaos and noise, the underground world was silent, peaceful, consistent. The water didn't know about the wars. It didn't care about the politics. It only cared about the rock. There is a perspective shift here. Your problems today, that awkward email, that bill you have to pay, that argument, they feel huge. They feel like storms, but placed against the scale of deep time, they are flashes of lightning. They are gone in a second. The rock and the water outlast everything. You are part of this deep time. Your biology is ancient. Your need for rest is ancient. Tap into that ancient part of yourself. The part that doesn't care about the modern world. The part that just wants to exist. Let your problems float on the surface. Miles above you. They are fast. You are slow. They cannot reach you down here in the Pleistocene era. You are a fossil of calm. Have you ever wanted to just press pause on the world? That is what the underground is. It is a giant pause button pressed by nature. Sometimes the water gets trapped in a tiny pocket, a vesicle in the basalt, a dead-end fracture, and it sits there. It might sit there for a century, totally still, stagnant in the most beautiful way. It becomes connate water trapped since the formation of the rock. Imagine the absolute stillness of that water. No vibration, no currents, just liquid resting in a stone cup. It is holding its breath. Try to find that stillness in your body right now. Can you lie so still that you can feel the pulse in your fingertips? Can you lie so still that the bed feels like it is rising up to meet you? This is the stillness of suspension. In this pause, there is no doing. There is only being. We are human beings, not human doings, but we forget that. We think we have to earn our rest. The water does not earn its rest. It simply stops flowing. It accepts the pause. Accept this pause in your night. Maybe you are awake. That is okay. You are paused. You are not failing to sleep. You are simply connate water. You are resting in a pocket of time. Enjoy the pocket. It is cozy. It is private. It is yours. The rock teaches the water patience. You cannot pass yet, the rock says. The crack is too small. Does the water get frustrated? Does it boil with rage? No. It waits. It applies a gentle, hydrostatic pressure. It leans against the door. It waits for a microscopic shift in the earth. It waits for an earthquake far away to rattle the cage. Or it simply waits to dissolve a single molecule of limestone, one molecule at a time. That is a patience that we can only dream of. But we can borrow it tonight. If sleep is a closed door, just lean against it. Done tea, bang on it. Done tea, check the handle every 5 minutes. Just lean. Let your weight rest against the concept of sleep. Softly, gently, pressure over time changes everything. The water will eventually dissolve the limestone. It will carve a cave. It will create a cathedral. But it does this by being soft, by being persistent, by not giving up, but not fighting either. Your relaxation is doing the same thing. Every breath you take is dissolving the stress. Breath in, dissolve. Breath out, flow. You are carving a cave of relaxation in your own mind. It takes time, and that is perfectly fine. You have all the time in the world. The night is long, the rock is deep, and now, let us return to that single droplet we visualized at the beginning. It has been hanging there for 100 years, gathering weight, gathering silence. It is heavy with the wisdom of the earth. Finally, the surface tension gives way. The bond breaks. Drop. It falls through the black air of the cavern. A perfect sphere of time descending. It hits the pool below. Plink. Ripples spread out in the darkness. Concentric circles of peace moving outward, touching the walls of the cave. The drop has joined the greater body. It is no longer alone. It is part of the reservoir. This is where we are heading next, to the great gathering, to the sleeping treasure. But for now, just feel the release of the fall. The tension breaks. The holding on stops. You let go. In science, we call this the zone of saturation. It means that every single pore, every crack, every tiny space in the rock is completely filled with water. There is no air here. There are no gaps. Think about the word saturated. It implies a feeling of being full, complete, heavy, Imagine a dry sponge dipped into a warm bath. It drinks and drinks until it cannot hold another drop. It becomes heavy. It sinks to the bottom. Tonight, I want you to feel saturated with sleep. Let the feeling of relaxation fill you up like water filling a sponge. Start at your toes. Let the water of sleep fill them. They become heavy. Let it rise to your ankles, your calves, your knees, your thighs. You are becoming waterlogged, but in the most pleasant way. You are too heavy to move. You are anchored to the bed by the weight of your own relaxation. The rock down here holds the water with a firm grip. It embraces it. The water supports the rock, and the rock protects the water. They are one entity now. Feel your body sinking into the mattress. You are saturating the bed. The boundary between you and the sheets is dissolving. You are one heavy, comfortable object. Look out across the surface of this underground lake. What do you see? You see a black mirror on the surface of the ocean. The wind blows, the waves crash. There is constant motion. The water is agitated. It is restless. But here, in the deep aquifer, the air is perfectly still. There is not a breath of wind to disturb the surface. The water is as flat as a sheet of glass. If you dropped a feather onto it, you would hear the sound. This stillness is hypnotic. It is absolute. It reflects the nothingness of the cave. Imagine your mind is this lake. Usually, your mind is like the ocean, choppy, wavy, full of thoughts crashing into each other. But deep down, beneath the waves of anxiety, beneath the currents of stress, there is a place like this. There is a core of your being that is the aquifer. It is untouched by the storm. It is perfectly flat. Visualize that flat, black water, smooth, glossy, silent. If a thought comes like a pebble falling from the ceiling, watch it hit the water, plop. Watch the ripples spread out, and then fade. The ripples get smaller and smaller and smaller until the lake is glass again. Return to the glass. Return to the stillness. You don't need to force the ripples to stop. They will stop on their own. The size of the lake is too great. It swallows the disturbance effortlessly. Your peace is bigger than your worry. Why is the water here? Why does nature hide so much of her treasure underground? Because it is safe here. Up above, the sun is a thief. It steals water through evaporation. It dries up the puddles. It cracks the mud. But down here, the sun cannot reach. This cavern is a vault. It is a bank. The earth is hoarding this water, keeping it cool, keeping it fresh, saving it for the future. This is a place of preservation. When you sleep, you are doing the same thing. You are retreating into your own personal vault. You are hiding from the draining demands of the world. You are preserving your energy. Feel the safety of the vault. The walls are thick rock, kilometers thick. The ceiling is massive. Nothing can get in. No phone calls, no alarms, no noise. You are locked inside the treasury. And you are the treasure. You are the precious resource that needs to be protected. Let the darkness be the door of the vault, swinging shut. Clang, a soft, heavy sound. The combination is locked. The world is outside. You are inside, safe, cool, kept. In a river, water molecules are running a race. They are tumbling over each other, rushing to the sea. They are individual competitors, but in the aquifer, the water is a community, trillions of gallons. Sitting shoulder to shoulder, they are huddled together. There is a concept called hydrostatic pressure. The water pushes against itself. It holds itself up. Imagine being in a crowd of people, but a gentle, silent crowd. A crowd of soft, warm ghosts. You don't even need to stand up because the crowd supports you. You can just lean back and you will be caught. That is how the water feels. It is supported by its brothers and sisters on all sides. It creates a sensation of being held together. Sometimes we feel like we are falling apart, like we are scattered. But here, you are held together by the pressure of the deep. The pressure wraps around your skin like a wetsuit. It holds your muscles. It holds your bones. You don't have to hold yourself together tonight. The night will do it for you. The bed will do it for you. Let the pressure hug you. It's a deep pressure hug, a hug that goes right to your nervous system and says, "You can let go now. I have you." The silence in a small room is one thing, but the silence in a massive cathedral is different. It has weight. It has echoes. The silence of the aquifer is the loudest silence on earth. It is a resonant silence. Can you hear the hum of the earth? It is a frequency lower than hearing, but you can feel it in your bones. Mim. It is the vibration of the planet spinning. The water amplifies this hum. It conducts the lullaby of the tectonic plates. Tune your ears to the lowest sound you can imagine. Lower than the fridge, lower than traffic. Find the silence behind the silence. In this vast space, your breath sounds loud. Inhale, sound of a gentle echo. Exhale, sound of a gentle echo. Listen to the rhythm of your own life. It is the only sound that matters here. The reservoir breathes with you. The water level rises and falls microscopically with the tides of the moon, even this deep underground. You are connected to the moon. You are connected to the tides. You are drifting on a sea that is both dark and comforting. We are now floating in the center of the sleeping treasure. There is no shore anymore. There is no ceiling visible. Just darkness and water. This is the birthplace of dreams. When the mind is this quiet, this dark, and this still, images begin to rise. Not the jagged images of anxiety, but the soft, fluid images of deep sleep. Strange, beautiful shapes, colors that drift like ink in water. Let the dreams come. Let them rise from the deep water like slow bubbles. Don't try to understand them. Just watch them float by. A memory of a childhood garden. Float, a face you love. Float, a feeling of flying. Float, the water supports them all. You are just drifting among them. You are not the swimmer anymore. You are the water itself, limitless, formless, dark. Imagine the moment the water leaves the rock. It is like a long, deep exhale that lasts for a century. Hala, the narrow channel opens into the limitless as the cold, pure, fresh water from the heart of the mountain pours out into the sea. It rises. It is lighter than the salt water. It is younger. It is cleaner. It forms a plume, a beautiful, liquid tree growing upwards through the dark blue. Feel that rising sensation in your body. Your mind is lifting off the bedrock of your thoughts. It is floating away from the hard places. You are a plume of peace, rising through the layers of the night. Everything is soft now. Everything is cushioned on all sides. For thousands of miles, there is only water, supporting you, holding you, celebrating your arrival. The ocean greets you with a slow, heavy wave of its cold, sapphire hand. Welcome home, the deep whispers. We have been waiting for you. In the deep ocean, there is a kind of silence that is different from the cave. The cave was the silence of holding. The ocean is the silence of releasing. Look down beneath your floating feet. There is the abyss. It is miles of pure, indigo velvet. It is the place where the whales sing their long, morning songs. It is the place where the giant squid drift like ghosts. It is a world of gentle giants. Don't be afraid of the deep. The deep is just more of what you already are. It is a void that is not empty, but full of dreams, full of history, full of the memories of the earth. Everything that has ever lived eventually comes back here. All the stories of the surface, all the tears, all the laughter, all the storms, they all settle here. In the cold, quiet blue, sink into the memory of the world. You don't need to be you anymore. You don't need to be a person with a name, a job, or a history. In the middle of the Pacific, names don't matter. In the middle of the Atlantic, deadlines are ghosts. You are just a part of the volume, a part of the mass. You are a molecule in the lungs of the planet. On this journey, we have been following you, the traveler. But as the fresh water mixes with the salt, the you disappears. This is the most sacred part of the rest. The fresh water gives up its mineral-rich identity. It loses its mountain flavor. It becomes the sea. It is called diffusion. Think of a single drop of blue ink falling into a vast lake. At first you see the drop, a tiny, swirling cloud of blue. Then the cloud expands, the edges become fuzzy. Then it is gone. The ink didn't disappear. It just became the lake. The whole lake is now microscopically bluer because of that drop. That is you, right now. You are diffusing into the sleep. You are no longer trying to sleep. You are not the person who can sleep. You are the sleep itself. You are the darkness in the room. You are the silence in the hallway. You are the rhythm of the waves. Let the I dissolve. I am tired. Becomes the tiredness is. Becomes the quiet. There is no more I. There is only the big blue. As the water drifts upwards, toward the surface, it begins to feel a new force. The earth is behind us now. Our Father, the Sun, and our Mother, the Moon, are above. The moon is pulling on the skin of the ocean. It creates the tides that move you back and forth, rocking and swaying. It is the world's biggest cradle. Billions of tons of water being rocked by the gentle gravity of the moon. You are in that cradle. Can you feel it? The microscopic swaying of your bed. It is not your imagination. The earth itself is tilted. The water is moving. You are being lulled by the orbital dance of the heavens. You are a child of the solar system. And then, the sun, as you reach the surface, the warm light of the distant sun, even through the clouds of your dream, touches the water. It excites the molecules. They become light. They become energetic. They say goodbye to the liquid world. They turn into vapor. The journey is completing its circle. You are leaving the ocean now. You are rising into the air as an invisible mist. You are becoming weightless. Everything we talked about, the heavy stone, the dense clay, the salt water, it is all gone. You are a ghost of water. You rise through the night air, higher and higher. Below you, the ocean is a dark, sparkling mirror. Around you, the stars are cold and bright. You are heading back to the clouds. You are heading back to the beginning. In this state of vapor, you are at your most peaceful. You are free from gravity. You are free from form. You are the essence of a dream. You will drift in the high winds for a while. You will travel over continents and over forests. And eventually, you will become heavy again. Eventually, you will find another cloud. You will hold hands with another whisper of vapor. And you will fall as rain once more. But that is for another time. That is for another life. For now, stay in the transition. Stay in the moment where the water meets the sky. Stay in the everything. The journey of the groundwater is over. The silence has been achieved. The treasure has been shared. The soul has been purified. You have done a good job. You have traveled through the heart of the world just to get to this sleep. You have earned this boundless rest. Listen to the world one last time. Sound effect. The sound of the ocean deepens. Then slowly, the sound of a soft, distant rain shower from chapter 1 begins to blend in. Hear the rain. It's calling to you, but it's far away. It is the sound of the cycle beginning again, a loop of peace that never ends. You are part of the water, and the water is eternal, and you are home. The blue is closing over you now. The sky and the sea are becoming one. There is no more up. There is no more down. There is only the infinite. Drift into the great blue. Sink into the eternal return. The story is finished. The traveler is gone. Sleep now. Just sleep. Good night.